This week, I traveled to Chiang Mai, Thailand with Andy Ricker of Pok Pok restaurant fame. The first restaurant we go to is Jok Sumpit. It's a rice porridge place. In fact, we do a great Thai rice soup there. Then we make a Thai beef salad with steak, cilantro, mint, and a sweet sour sauce. And finally, we go to my favorite named restaurant of all time, which is the Hot Basil restaurant for people who like spicy food. And we make a great Thai stir-fried spinach. So stay with us as we do the cooking of Thailand coming up next on Milk Street.
Funding for this series was provided by the following.
Ferguson's proud to support Milk Street and Culinary Crusaders everywhere. For more information on our extensive collection of kitchen products, we're on the web at fergusonshowrooms.com.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular's goal has been to provide wireless service that helps people communicate and connect. We offer a variety of no-contract plans, and our U.S.-based customer service team can help find one that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.
Cooking happens in the kitchen, but life happens around the kitchen table. The 1919 collection, celebrating yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Visit us at www.1919cookware.com.
Chiang Mai is a small city in the north of Thailand, not far from the border with Burma. I'm visiting Chef Andy Ricker at his home just outside of town. I'm here to learn the secrets of Thai rice soup, a classic Thai dish that sums up all that is really special about this cuisine. A simple base with layers of competing flavors.
This is typically a morning food in Thailand.
This is breakfast.
This is a breakfast or early lunch, typically. Though you can eat it any time of the day. It's very common to eat this in the morning. ชื่ออะไรครับแม่ครับ
Jalatsi.
Jalatsi ครับ Jalatsi is going to show us how to make rice porridge, and this is just like one of the most simple, basic, easy things to do. And this is a great way of using day-old rice because it's dried up a little bit, and it'll soak up the flavor of the pork stock. You can smell it. You smell the rice and the pepper and the herbs. You've got all these different flavors kind of bouncing against each other.
Is this my first 90-second recipe?
I guess it is. Okay, so she's going to add some fresh hot pork balls to it. And the pork balls, I call mudeng, which means bouncy pork. And my understanding is that it's not about the texture of the pork so much as the fact that they have such good flavor, it makes you bounce out of your seat. A little spoon of what we call siu kao, or white soy sauce, thin soy sauce, and then some pickled turnip, some garlic, fried garlic in garlic oil, a little bit of chopped green onion and Chinese celery, and then she's going to hit it with a bunch of white pepper, which you'll see tastes really good. And then we like it with egg in it, so she's got some pre-coddled eggs that she's going to crack right in there, and done. Really simple. Now, rather than building to a single note, a big single note, it's a bunch of different notes and chords popped together that play off of each other.
But this is both simple and really complicated.
Yes, you basically, one way of thinking about it is you get an entire table's worth of flavors in one bowl.
You have this base layer, and then you add the chilies and the white pepper and the pork and the egg and the fried garlic.
Yeah.
And so...
And it just makes a very, very satisfying but light dish.
You know, when I was in that Jok shop, the rice porridge shop in Chiang Mai, Thailand, I realized that when they do the rice soup, they just assemble it, right? They have the rice, they have the hot stock, and they throw in the pork meatballs. I mean, everything is just pulled together. It took about 90 seconds to like put out a bowl. So here at Milk Street, we have to start from the beginning because we don't have all that stuff ready. So how are we going to do the rice soup?
Well, Chris, we're actually going to start with the meatballs. Now, technically, we started with the rice because the rice in the soup gets cooked ahead of time. You want to cook it at least a day ahead of time. Spread it out on a baking sheet. You could spray it with a little cooking spray. Let it come to room temperature, and then stick it in the fridge. So assuming you have your leftover rice, we're going to start with our meatballs. There are some really simple but very flavorful and a little bit spicy meatballs that go into the soup. So I have a tablespoon of fish sauce, a tablespoon of chili garlic sauce. This is just the store-bought stuff that you can find, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of white pepper. And I'm just gonna get in here with my hands because we wanna mix this up really well. There's no egg in here, there's no breadcrumb filler. They're just gonna be these really tiny, really flavorful meatballs.
So this is not an Italian meatball. I don't know.
No,
This is what you're trying to say.
The problem I've had when making these meatballs, and it's easily remedied, is I always want to make them too big, and they cook so quickly. We really just want them to be about 2 teaspoons each. So I actually like to use an actual teaspoon. I know it seems like a little bit uptight, but otherwise I find I can only make, say, 10 meatballs, and we're looking for about 20 meatballs here.
We should also say just a word about fish sauce. We did do a tasting of various supermarket brands. We do like Red Boat the best. And by the way, I always wondered what fish sauce was because it didn't sound really appealing to me. They just take anchovies and essentially put them in a huge barrel. And then after a year, they come back. And whatever comes out of the bottom, that first pressing, as it were, is the best. And we happen to like Red Boat.
All right, Chris, we have 20 meatballs, and I'm just going to wash my hands and throw these in the fridge while we put the rest of the soup together. Okay, Chris, so we're gonna start by building a really flavorful broth. Over medium-high heat, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of refined coconut oil. And a lot of times people are using virgin coconut oil at home, not the refined. That stuff is great, but it's very coconutty and doesn't have as high of a smoke point. So if you don't have refined coconut, something neutral like grapeseed oil or even lard would probably be a better alternative. So our coconut oil is melted, it's starting to shimmer a little bit. I'm gonna add 5 shallots that we've halved and then just thinly sliced, about 2 cups, and then just a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. And these are gonna cook over medium-high heat for about 5 minutes. So we want them to soften and start to get a little bit of browning, and I'm gonna put you in charge of that, Chris.
How exciting.
If you could keep half an eye on those shallots. And then I'm gonna prep our lemongrass. These originally were about this long. So when you get your lemongrass, you want to cut it down to about 6 inches because the ends tend to be kind of wilted and dried out. And then you also want to remove if there's any kind of dry outer layer. So you can cut it. You don't need to get all the way down to the heart, but you just want to...
This is like peeling a leek.
Yeah, you just want to remove any kind of dry outer bits. And we're going to smash it with the knife because we're going to remove these from the broth later, but we want to make sure that all the good flavor gets out, and it's only about 15 minutes that this is gonna simmer, so we're just helping it along. All right, Chris, so you can see we're starting to get a little bit of browning here, and they're soft. Now I'm gonna add 8 cloves of garlic that we've sliced really thin, and we're just gonna give this 30 seconds to get kind of fragrant. I'm gonna add in our lemongrass that we beat up, and then also I have 2 tablespoons here of very finely grated ginger, and this is just gonna dissolve into the dish. Chris, if you could help me out, we have 2.5 quarts here of bouillon. You could also use a low-sodium chicken stock. We just really liked the flavor of the bouillon. So we're just gonna bring this up to a simmer, and after about 15 minutes, we're gonna have a really flavorful broth as the base of our soup. And while that simmers away, we can start working on our fried shallots, which are really the icing on the cake of this delicious soup. Okay, Chris, so our broth is simmering, and we're just gonna fry up some shallots to finish the soup. So if you have a mandolin at home, and make sure you use the guard, that is great for getting really even, thin slices.
By the way, I won't go into detail, but you definitely use the guard. I know a lot of people who went to the emergency room. Please use the guard.
At home, we're gonna use the guard. So you can see you get really nice, thin, even slices, which helps a lot when you're trying to get evenly browned. And then it's always a good idea to test your oil. So you want to look to make sure it's 275, but you can also put one in, and that's exactly what you're looking for. You don't want it to sort of sadly sink to the bottom. And the temperature is going to come down quite a bit when we add all of these shallots. And it really is hard to overemphasize how delicious these are. They're the perfect garnish for the soup. We reduced it to medium, and these will be good in 8 to 10 minutes. And then, Chris, I'm gonna put a fine mesh strainer over a glass bowl and just strain out those shallots. All right, Chris, so our broth has been simmering for about 15 minutes. I'm just gonna pull out those lemongrass stalks. They've given us all their flavor, and I don't think you wanna gnaw on a big piece of lemongrass. Now we're gonna add our meatballs. And because they're so small, they're only gonna take 3 to 4 minutes to cook. And we're just gonna gently poach them in this broth, so don't let it boil too vigorously. All right, Chris, so our meatballs have been simmering for about 4 minutes. I'm gonna add 4 cups of jasmine rice, which you don't wanna add rice that you've just made because it'll get mushy. And this just takes 1 minute to kind of heat through and soften back up. So this has been going for about a minute, Chris, and we can finish up our soup. We have 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, 3 tablespoons of lime juice. We have a tablespoon of chili garlic sauce and another teaspoon of white pepper. And of course, these are all ingredients that we added in the beginning. Remember those meatballs had the white pepper and the chili sauce and the fish sauce. And then we have 1 cup here of fresh cilantro, and we are ready to eat.
I don't usually eat with my eyes because I would prefer to eat with my mouth, but that really does look good.
It does, and that hit of cilantro at the end adds brightness, beautiful color. Some rice.
I get more than 1 meatball.
I know, I knew you were gonna come after me.
4 is good.
Now, these are those fried shallots that really
I'm
make
gonna try
it.
them. Oh man.
They're like potato chips, but better.
Those are really delicious.
Truly. So we're also gonna serve it with a hard-boiled egg.
I want to start with this more chili sauce. Is
Look
this?
at you, feeling bold today, Chris.
Well, just a little. I like a little bit of it.
Taking you back to Thailand. And a squeeze of lime.
And now massive quantities of
Yeah,
fried.
more.
Yeah.
I like to layer my fried crispy shallots. This is a heck of a bowl of leftover rice, right?
This is so good. Spicy, fresh. I love the little hint of lemongrass. The pork gives you a little bit of substance to it. Man, that's good. I mean, the Mill Street concept of layers of flavor and textures, right? It's got the fried shallots, it's got the meatballs, it's got the egg for texture, then it's got the fish sauce, it's got the broth, it's got the cilantro on top. So straight from Chiang Mai in Thailand, care of Andy Ricker of Pok Pok fame, we have a less than an hour Thai rice soup with lots of different flavors and textures. This is really one of the top 5 soups here at Mill Street. Easy to make and absolutely delicious. I love Thai beef salad. It's simple. It has meat, which I always like. It also has fish sauce, it has lime juice, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of heat, some shallots, all the things I like. And so how do we make it?
I know you'll love this salad, as you said, because it's basically just beef in a bold and spicy dressing. I'm going to start with 1 large shallot, and we're going to mellow out the bite with 3 tablespoons of lime juice. Now I'm going to let the shallot sit in the lime juice for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to get our skillet up to medium-high and put in 1 teaspoon of a neutral oil. We're using grapeseed oil. The important thing is to get that skillet smoking hot. So while that's heating, we're going to make a spice rub. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. I have 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 3/4 teaspoon of white pepper. Now, Thai white pepper has a lovely aromatic floral flavor, and it might be hard to get, but any supermarket white pepper is also just as good. I want to make sure I break up the lumps in the brown sugar. Okay, this is silly.
Why don't you use like 2 toothpicks? I mean, use your hands.
I'm going to use my hands.
Good.
Thank you.
That's what they're there for.
So my spice rub is done. I'm going to move on to the meat. We found that we really liked skirt steak. It's a well-marbled cut, and it has exceptionally beefy flavor that stands up to the bold dressing. So I have 1.5 pounds here that have been cut into 3 pieces, and I've patted them dry. And now we're going to rub them with our spice mixture. I definitely want to use my hands for this. Now the sugar-salt mixture is going to make for a wonderful crust. Okay, we are ready. My beef is going to go in, and this is going to cook for 2 to 4 minutes on each side. It's important that we don't overcook our beef because it will get tough. So we want to get it to just medium rare and no more. So after a couple of minutes, I'm going to flip that and get to the other side. Once it's done cooking, it needs to rest for 10 minutes. Okay, Chris, our beef is done cooking. That's a beautiful crust formed. I'm going to ask you to cut it.
You do ask very nicely, though, I have to say, so okay.
Now, the important thing here is that we're cutting the beef against the grain, and that shortens the muscle fibers and makes for a very tender bite. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to continue building the dressing for this salad. And to that, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes for some heat, and 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. That's looking great. Our dressing is done. To this, we're going to add our beef. Thank you. So there's not a whole lot else that goes into this salad. We did like cherry tomatoes. I have 1.5 cups here of red and yellow cherry tomatoes that have been halved. And then for greens, the only things we're using are a 1/2 cup each of fresh mint and fresh cilantro that have been chopped. So again, big handfuls of herbs, lots and lots of flavor. And you can see that's looking so pretty. And now we're ready to eat.
It does look good.
That's plenty. And here's a little extra cilantro on top, now that I know you like cilantro.
Well, you're just trying to add vegetables to the salad, evidently. Lots of meat, which is what I like.
Enjoy.
It's salty, it's sweet, it's slightly sour. It has the wonderful taste of the steak.
This is a meal in itself.
I thought you were going to take a bite and go yum.
Well, it is called yamna, but in Thai, yum refers to a spicy, tangy dressing.
Delicious. Here at Mill Street, one of our favorite Tuesday night suppers is Thai beef salad. Of course, it's got the beef. I love the way they call it salad. That's why I like it. It's mostly beef. It's sweet. It has fish sauce. It has lime juice, of course. It has cilantro. It has mint. It has tomatoes. It really has just about everything. So next time you want a quick, delicious meat salad on a Tuesday night, you might want to try Thai beef salad. I'm here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, visiting Chef Andy Ricker of the Pok Pok restaurants back in the States. He spends much of the year here in Chiang Mai and explains that although the culture is ancient and complex, the cooking is quick and simple.
The dish he's going to make now is chayote greens done in a method called phai dang, which means red fire. So he's got some garlic, chayote greens all on a plate. And then he's going to add a little bit of oyster sauce to the greens before it goes into the pot. A little bit of seasoning sauce, soy sauce, and then a big scoop of chilies and garlic, and a little bit of soup stock or water. And then we're going to have a very, very high flame and a very, very smoky, like a smoking hot wok. And just a little bit of oil, just a touch of oil. Boom. And this is the wok flash fried greens done in a very, very hot wok. The greens are going to spend maybe a minute in the wok before they're done. And that's it. You have some really beautiful, bright green chayote greens. Gonna be spicy, smoky, salty, really, really delicious.
Well, let's try this.
Sure.
That's fabulous.
Right? It's got a little bit crunchy. The leaves themselves are soft.
It's just clean and flavorful and perfect.
And
Yeah.
so simple to make.
Yeah, well.
I actually eat something like this at home almost every day when I cook at home. I end up making some version of this.
So when I start my restaurant, I'm going to call it the Hot Basil Restaurant for people who like spicy food. Doesn't that sound like some Bollywood movie or something?
I want to eat that.
Yeah, it's just a great name. It's not much of a restaurant in terms of looks. It's really in a parking lot. But they do make the great stir-fry water spinach with some chilies and oil. And it took about 90 seconds.
Wow.
The guy had a huge wok and massive burner. Flames were shooting up, and it was just, I think it was the best thing I ate in Thailand. It was just delicious. So your job was to take non-water spinach and a smaller wok and do it here.
We're going to do just fine with our wok in our home range. So this begins, as you said, we're not using water spinach. We're going to use regular spinach. Now you want to make sure to buy regular mature spinach, not the bagged baby stuff. That's going to wilt down to nothing,
Right.
and there's going to be no substance to the dish. So it's about 1.5 pounds of spinach, and what we're going to do is, we're just going to snap them off. They come sort of in bunches. Make sure to get all those leaves. The other thing you really want to make sure to do is make sure your spinach is really dry. So put it in a salad spinner or roll it up in a kitchen towel and give it a couple twists, because the second you add wet spinach to really hot wok with oil, it's going to splatter like crazy. So that's the last of it, and our spinach is done.
In Chiang Mai, he cooked the entire dish by the time it took you to take the roux. So I just want to point that out.
Well, water spinach is much bigger leaves,
Yeah.
and the stems,
Easier.
yep, a little easier.
Right.
Our spinach is ready, and now it's time to whip up the sauce. So the sauce is exactly what you had in Thailand. It begins with 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. And this is a Chinese ingredient, but it's used a lot in Thai cooking too. 2 teaspoons white granulated sugar. And the sugar helps tone down the fish sauce, but also helps give the sauce sort of a glossy.
But a good fish sauce actually doesn't really taste fishy.
Any sort of fishy aroma cooks off with the dish. So by the time you're eating it, you get the depth and complexity and flavor. Then we're going to finish it with just a bit of heat. It's 3/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes. So let's whisk that up.
You know, I think we put all of our whisks in the dishwasher and they shrank. Like that's what happened.
Honey, I shrunk the whisks. So we're going to set the sauce aside. Now it's time to actually start cooking. So we're going to use a wok for this. You said, you know, I've seen the pictures. The wok's huge. Any home-sized wok is going to be great here. You're just going to want to cook it in 2 batches. So we're going to start the wok off on medium-high heat because we want nice, uniform, even heating. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil and swirl it around to evenly coat. And we want to bring that oil up to just about smoking. You can start seeing wisps coming up from the pan. So at this point, we're going to add our garlic. Now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of chopped garlic. You don't want to chop it too fine or it's going to burn really quickly.
Okay.
So we're going to slide it off the heat and add the garlic. And you can tell it's just sizzling right away. So I'm going to use tongs and stir it. And we're just going to cook it until it's just beginning to color, which is just about now, 20 to 30 seconds. You can smell it. Now we're going to turn the burner up to high, bring the pan back up, then we're going to add half our spinach. So this is a good dish to use tongs for, because you can just keep turning the greens, giving it great exposure to the pan sides. Now we don't want to cook it all the way through here, because you can see some leaves are going to remain almost looking raw, but they're going to wilt down very quickly. So we're going to put it in our bowl. And by the time the second batch cooks, it's going to finish. So we're going to mix it and then re-whisk our sauce because there's some sugar in there that's going to settle. Tongs, perfect for that.
Can I ask you a question? Do you do everything? Do you drive a car with tongs?
I do.
Shift with tongs?
It's the ex-line cook in me. I can't cook without tongs. Then pour that over top. And you can smell it. You can smell the fish sauce. It's fantastic. And there we go.
Great.
May I?
Please. Now that does look great.
It's about 5 minutes of work there, cooking. I love the stems. The crunchy, succulent texture really offsets the tenderness of the leaves.
It's sweet. It has a little bit of fish sauce, a little bit of heat, not too much heat. You know, here at Milk Street, the favorite thing for me is when we get a recipe that takes like 5 or 10 minutes and it has like 20 different flavors. It has the fish sauce and it has a little bit of sweet to it and it has a little bit of heat. Of course, it's got the fresh crunch of the stems of the spinach as well. So, Thai stir-fried spinach. But you get this recipe, all the recipes from this season of Milk Street at milkstreettv.com.
Funding for this series was provided by the following.
Ferguson's proud to support Milk Street and culinary crusaders everywhere. For more information on our extensive collection of kitchen products, we're on the web at fergusonshowrooms.com.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular has been offering no-contract wireless plans designed to help people do more of what they like. our U.S.-based customer service team can help find a plan that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.
Cooking happens in the kitchen, but life happens around the kitchen table. The 1919 collection, celebrating yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Visit us at www.1919cookware.com.
Fried banana, caramel sauce as well.
Fantastic. So this is called goy namois, which is these bananas here. We have something similar to it in the States called burro banana or Thai banana. And he makes a batter and he cooks it in the palm oil for a while, 10-15 minutes, at a relatively low temperature.
I'm not going home.
You dig it?
I'm here. You have an extra room in your house?
Yeah, we do.